Hello and welcome to Cutter Farms. We're back with another episode of Susquehanna River Valley by Nitrodad. And last time we wrapped up cutting our wheat, and so today we're going to dive into some corn silage. So I just got done switching our pull-behind forage harvester here over to corn. We had the alfalfa hay pickup on the front of this up until a few moments ago. And so we're going to be heading down to the cornfield here to get started on this. And I've switched out to using the 8950 here because it has a bit higher of a road speed and it's a little bit higher horsepower, which I thought might be handy on these hills here. And so we're going to be going ahead and diving into this. I also wanted to mention, though, before we get started, that there is a new version of the map that has been released. And that came out, I don't know, probably a week and a half ago now. And it fixes a lot of different issues with the map, including the problems a lot of people were reporting with alfalfa. And so I highly recommend getting that update to the map. I have not installed that update to the map, though, because Nitrodad has warned that if you have crops on the ground, you will lose those, and you want to get all those crops picked up before you do the update. And since we've got a lot of straw currently laying in our wheat field, I didn't want to lose all that, and so we're going to wait until after harvest here to make the switch over to the new version of the map. So I'm kind of looking at this field here and trying to figure out how best to approach this. I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to be able to get around the fence here on the outside of this field. So we're going to go ahead and give this a try. And so we're going to jump right into here. It looks like this is going to work without a problem, which is good. And I did drop the duals off of this 8950 because it was getting in the way a little bit with some of the forage harvesting and stuff like this. And so I thought it'd be easier to run without the duals for a little bit here in harvest. And so that's what we're going to do. Now this two-row silage head is pretty narrow, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to navigate this without missing bits of corn or running over crops. And so I think we're going to run kind of like this up in above the tractor a bit and see how this goes. Now I don't know how much silage we're going to need, and so we're going to go ahead and fill up a few trailers here. And just because of the way that this silage harvester works, I think we're just going to work our way around the outside of the field. I think trying to stay up on the top side of that hill and just go back and forth is going to prove to be kind of difficult. And so I think this is going to be our best path here. We're getting pretty decent yields, I feel. And so we're just going to keep chopping here along the edge. I'm going to kind of try and straighten some areas out. Next time we come around here, it'll be a little bit easier maybe. And we'll see how far around the field we can make it here. I'm a little bit worried about how close to the fence we're going to be down here on the bottom. Yep, I don't think there's any way we're fitting through there with the tractor. So we're going to shut this thing off, clip through a bush or two here, and it looks like head all the way back up to the top of this hill and do this again. Now, if I'm being honest, I think I was kind of hoping that we were going to see just a little bit higher yields coming out of this corn silage. I was expecting to kind of run down the length of this field once and have a trailer full, but I guess I didn't take into consideration that we've only got a two-row head on this forage harvester here, so this is definitely a pretty small piece of equipment, although I guess probably pretty realistic for a farm this size. I mean, we don't have that many acres, and so you really wouldn't need to invest in much bigger of a chopper if you were just pulling in a few acres a year for your cows. So I guess we're just going to run with this and kind of see how it goes. We've got about a half a trailer here, so we'll probably need to make one more trip up and down this field here at some point. But I'm not sure how much of this we really need to do. Once we get the trailer filled up here, we're going to run this back up to the farmyard and take a look at how much silage we actually have right now. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a fermenting silo on the farm. We've got the storage silo and then the production silo for making the TMR. And so we're going to need to turn this into silage here yet. And I believe we're going to do that with the silage pit that we have sitting next to the cow pastures. So we're going to have to also probably disconnect this trailer from the forage harvester and run that up to the silage bunker there manually. Alright, so we're getting just about filled up here finally. We made a couple passes here, and there we go, we are full. So I think what we're going to do is drop this forage harvester, and we're going to run this trailer up to the silage pit separate from the forage harvester, because that's just going to be kind of a lot of monkey business getting that into the bunk. And so I think this is going to work out a little bit better. And we got to go take stock of really the whole silage situation. So I'm not sure how much silage we're going to need to make to keep the cows going. And so we're going to just run this up there and figure that out. I don't want to do too many loads of this, I don't think, but we'll see here. I've been a bit surprised at just how slow this silage harvester is. If we're going to need a lot of loads of silage, I think we're going to need to figure out how to take the end of the field off there so that we can keep going through this. So we're going to leave this trailer here for just a second and run over here, take a look at the board. So I've got no silage in here right now, and we do need, it's 50% of our mix, so we are going to need a fair amount of silage. If we look at the animal menu here, we're currently feeding 55,000 liters a year. I expect that to double over the next year. And so let's put this silage into the bunk and see how much that nets us, because I think what we'll do is plan for at least double the amount of silage that I think we're going to need. And so we're going to just force drop this silage here into the bunk. And as we drive back and forth here, I should have gone a little bit slower apparently. We're getting quite the pile here at the end, which is not what I wanted to do. We're going to try and back up with this forage wagon a little bit here and spread it out a bit. We'll definitely drive a bit slower next time. But my point here is if we pull up the menu, that gives us 22,000 liters of chaff, a little bit more, we'll say 23,000 liters. And so if that's 50% of a feed mix, that's going to make 46,000 liters of feed. And so if we do this a couple more times, we'll have plenty of silage to make feed for our cows and keep them going for at least another year, if not a little bit longer. And that's kind of the goal here. And so I think what we'll do is fill up this forage box 2 more times and call that good for the time being, because we also just need some regular corn to come off of this field as well for feed. And so that's going to give us a, I think, good mix of things. Now, I do want to try and take the end of this field off, because it'd be a lot easier if I could just go around this field and not have to keep driving back and forth. And so we're going to give that a shot here and see what we can come up with. We might lose tractors width of corn here as we drive over some of it, but we'll have learned our lesson, and we can definitely plant the end of this field just a little bit better next time. So let's see if I can back this forage harvester up to the box real quick. And there we go. It looks like there's still chaff in the box, though. What, there's not? I mean, there's 0.04 tons, so it's a interesting fill level for so little chaff. Played with a few different camera angles, but for whatever reason, it's just hard to keep this lined up unless I just hover over the box like this and kind of look down on the forage harvester. The visuals are a bit hard. Either the corn's too tall, we're going to pick this little bit up over here, or, you know, the drawbar's in the way here. I can't really get a good side view, so we're just going to kind of do the top-down view for this. I'm trying to pick up some of these stragglers, but the work area in front of this is pretty small, so we're wasting all kinds of time here. So we're going to just get back in the row. Alright, so we've gone ahead and chopped through the end there, the part that was a little bit too close to the fence. This is just going to make our lives so much easier and more efficient here, rather than running back and forth up the end of the field every time. Now we're going to be able to just keep working our way around this field with the silage, or with the forage chopper here. So, alright, so we've made a loop around the field here. We got to about 50% with one loop, but we were pretty inefficient on the way down, so I honestly don't think we're going to make it all the way around this field again before we're full. Because we're going to be picking up, hopefully, the full work area this time around. And so, this has not exactly been a great test, because we've just been doing a lot of cleanup. But I do think we're going to get 4 boxes total as my target after I've been thinking about it here, as we're, you know, kind of going along chopping here, is that I think 4 boxes have a little bit of buffer from a silage perspective is going to be a good thing, because I don't know at what point in the year we're going to get more silage, and also it takes a while to ferment silage, and so we need to make sure that we've got enough silage to last through the fermenting cycle as well, not just until we get to chopping it again. And so I really think we need just a little bit more than I had estimated a few minutes ago, and so we're going to go ahead and fill up at least 4 of these forage boxes. Now, as you can see down here, we made kind of a mess. We lost a couple of rows here, but if we straddle, we're not straddling that real well. The thought was I could come back and pick up those few rows here real quick. And so I'm going to finish out this corner, and then we're going to whip back around and see if I can actually grab these rows that we've been driving over, and hopefully salvage at least a little bit of that corn. We lost 2 rows driving over it, but we will get just a little bit of corn still out of the spot if we can stop driving over the row on our left. And so we're just going to widen this area out just a little bit more here. And we'll turn around and do one more pass to pick up that row along the fence, just for completeness. The joy of working with 2-row implements is it's just really hard to stay on target here. Alright, so we cleaned up the end here a bit, and it's looking like we're just about full. And so I figure right as we kind of get going up the hill here, we'll top this trailer off. 98, 99, 100. There we go. And so we're going to do, I think, the same thing here. We're going to just bring this all up by the fence here and disconnect it up there on the headland. We got a little bit more room to work with stuff there, and be connecting and disconnecting. Now, ideally, I would probably leave the forage chopper hooked up to this tractor and have another tractor sitting here to haul the forage box back and forth up to the silage pit there, but we just don't have anything that's not hooked up to something at the moment, so we're going to go ahead and just keep doing it this way. Now, I'm a little bit nervous about the hill here. We'll block the tires on that wagon, and if we put this right here, should be out of the way. But yeah, dropping the PTO and hooking everything up every time would be quite the pain, I would think. So I think what I want to do this time is come into this silage bunk from the other side, and we're going to do that so that we can do a little bit of compaction here on the chaff that we've got in here already, as well as spread it out so it's not just going onto the same pile. So let's see if we can get this thing started. We forgot to hook the PTO up, so that is why we're not getting any chaff to come out of here. So let's go ahead and get that started now. And we'll just plod along here at 2 miles an hour and kind of spread this out as we go. Don't need to win any speed records here. I think 2 miles an hour is about right. It'll keep it lined up here with the same pile. We probably could have gone just a smidge faster here, but that's okay. We've got most of that spread out here, and at some point here we're going to have to figure out how we're going to compact the rest of that. We don't have a silage blade or any of those kinds of tools available to us, so ideally we would need something along those lines to level that out a little bit, but we're gonna have to just try and do a really good job of spreading that out evenly as we lay it down in the bunk, so that we don't need to invest in anything else for this season. We're trying to really squeeze by with what we need to spend money on. I'm realizing that we don't have anything to really bale our straw with either, so that's going to be something that we're going to have to sort out here in the near future as well, because we have all that straw sitting on the wheat field. And so I'm not sure if we could actually hook it up or pick it up with the forage box here with the pickup on this forage harvester or not. I'm not sure that the straw would necessarily be chopped well enough for that coming out of the back of the combine. So that's something that I'm going to have to look into here still a little bit to figure out what we're going to do with that straw, but we've got some time. But we've got this forage harvester all set back up here, so we're going to go ahead and pick another box full here and see how it goes. Alright, so we've made it one time around the field, being more efficient, mostly efficient, with our picking. It's a little bit hard, but we got 58% here as we get into the straightaway, so we're going to be right around 2 full times around the field at this stage to fill a forage box, so not too bad. We've got what, we've got 2 boxes in there already, so we're gonna do this 2 more times here. So I've been trying to do a little bit of in-camera work here, and it's not easy, especially at this speed, 8 miles an hour. Not too easy to kind of keep track of everything and stay in cab here. And I think it would make for a pretty terrible video. Like, realistically in real life, you're gonna be kind of going back and forth between looking where you're going and looking at what the implement's doing, and it just makes for some dizzying camera work in Farm Sim. So we're not gonna do that, at least for this job. We might try and do a little bit more in-camera work as we get into some different kinds of jobs, but for something like this, it's just kind of difficult. And if I'm being honest, while this might be an appropriate setup for the size of farm that we have, I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to handle doing forage harvest at this scale again. Like, even though we only need to fill up 4 boxes, this is 2-row implements are just kind of painful. And so I much prefer a little bit larger equipment. So we might have to look into adding something a little bit bigger here from a forage harvester perspective on this save at some point. But I think we're getting close to what we need for the time being. And so we're going to go ahead and just keep things going here real quick. We only need 1 more box after this, so we can push our way through for the time being. But this is just a slow job. And so this is going to take quite some time. Yeah, especially if we were to try and fill a silage bunk or do this whole field of silage, that would just take a really long time. So we're not going to be doing that, at least not this season. I'd be curious if anybody knows of any good US style oldish forage harvesters or anything that would fit in good with a Case New Holland farm here. I know that there's a few out there, but the older one that I came across was definitely not a US style forage harvester, so I'd be curious to see what everybody else is using on farms of this size. We are going to go ahead and run through this side of the silage bunk again, making sure our PTO is hooked up this time. And we're going to set our cruise control down, and away we go. We're going to go just a smidge faster here, mostly because we're getting a lot of slip on the tires. And we're flattening this out pretty good. I want to make sure we're getting some chaff over to the edge of the bunk here, and we've got quite a bit of bunk here that we weren't using before, so I think 3 miles an hour is probably a little bit better of a fit there. We don't want it leaking out the ends because I really don't have any equipment to be cleaning chaff up and pushing it back into the bunk, but I think that's going to work out for us pretty good. And like I said, we just need 1 more load here, I think, and we're going to call this good enough for the coming year. But as I was just saying, would really appreciate if anybody has recommendations for some slightly bigger forage equipment that would be a good fit for this farm. I know there's some more modern stuff, but you really don't want to go too big. And, you know, I'm not opposed to a self-propelled forage harvester. I just want to get something that's a good fit for the point at which we find our farm. So nothing too big or too modern, because we're only really going to be using it to silage a field or 2 at a time. Not even a whole field. We're only going to barely be doing part of a field at a time. And so that's where my mind is at least. And our cows are going to continue to multiply here over the coming year. I expect that we'll have probably about twice as many cows by this point next year, and then likely that trend will continue, and we'll get even more cows in subsequent years. And so we do have the capacity for, you know, several hundred cows. Let's get the cruise control going here and take just the quickest peek. I don't have the mod on that shows me how many we can have, but it's a few hundred. I'd really love to see us expand our dairy operation to, you know, a couple hundred head at some point. And at that point, we'd probably be doing quite a bit of silage per year. We're going to definitely need some better equipment to handle the silage and the silage bunk at that point. But I think for this year, this is gonna do us. So I do have just a standard bucket on the front of our older tractor there. So we will be able to scoop up the silage and get it over into the production facility at least. I'm thinking a bucket at a time is going to be a little bit painful though, but we'll see how it goes. We may have to invest in a conveyor belt or something to help us get it up out of the pit and into say one of our gravity wagons or something, so that we can move a bit of a bulk from the pit over to the production facility. But I guess we could always maybe try and put it into this box too. I don't know if they make like a silage blower or something. Really haven't done a lot with it. I'm gonna have to look into what our options are and how people handle the silage after it's in a pit. We never really used pits on the farm we were on. We had harvestors that we were putting all of our material into, and then we would pull it back out of the harvestor. So it was a lot easier to blow it in and out of that than to deal with a pit, at least on the farms we were in. And so at some point here, I'll have to do a little bit of research and figure out what we need to do to get this silage back out of the bunk once it's ready to go. And the other reason I have to play with the HUD on right now is that if I was just going by visuals, I would think that this trailer is full of chaff, but looking down at the meter itself, we're only at 50%, so the fill plane does not necessarily match up with reality for this particular forage box, which is okay. It seems to work pretty well, which is nice. A lot of times some of these mods get a little bit glitchy on me, so I've been pretty happy with this setup. Plus it matches. I really like when my mods are themed to go together really well. Alright, so we've got our fourth and final forage box filled up here, so we're going to bring this whole setup back up to the farm, and we'll drop the chopper here in the shed, and then we'll go and get this silage compacted, I think. I really want to get that tarped up and fermenting here as soon as possible, because we are going to need that silage sooner than later to keep making some food for the cows here. So we're going to start off here by putting the forage harvester away, since we need to disconnect it anyway. And so we are just going to fold this pipe up, and I think back this right into this stall here right next to the pickup. Should be nice and out of the way here. And then we can grab our forage box and get this into the bunk. I think once again we're gonna bring it in from the far end over there, because we didn't quite spread it out perfectly here yet. And so if we just bring it around, we're gonna line ourselves up here and kind of keep spreading this, keep compacting this out. I think once we get this forage box dumped, we'll go and grab the MX, because that's got both the duals on it, as well as we've got a bunch of weights and stuff on there. And so I think that's probably going to do a little bit better job of compacting this out. Now I set my cruise control a little bit higher than last time, so I'm going to try and just back up a little bit to keep that bulk of it in the middle section of the silage bunk. And we're gonna leave this set up right here, and if we just grab this MX here, I'm pretty sure this is gonna fit in the bunk. And with so much width on the tires here and so much more weight than that 8950, hopefully this is gonna do a little bit better job of compacting down some of this chaff for us. And these bunks are nice and wide, and to be quite honest, we don't really have that much silage in here. We probably wouldn't have spread it out quite this far in reality. You want to get it nice and compacted in on each other, so we'd probably actually, in real life, I'm thinking, needed to chop a bit more silage to get this to work, but we'll keep going here on this. We're already at 29-30% compaction, so this is just going to take a moment to get this all settled down so that we can tarp it up. Alright, so we've got all of our chaff packed down here. Now it looks like some of it started leaking through the wall over here, which is unfortunate because there's a fence there and we're not going to be able to do anything to pick that up. So I'm not sure, but that's a little bit unfortunate. And then over here it leaks through the wall, but at least it's part of the bunks, so that's all covered up. So we've got that all set up and compacting now, or fermenting now. And so that'll come through. I forget in seasons how long that takes, but that takes just a little bit. If we run over here, though, real quick and take a look, I'm not too worried about it because we've still got 32,000 liters of TMR in here. And so we're definitely going to be able to keep our cows going for, you know, a solid half a year here still. And so hopefully that silage comes out before then. I don't think it takes a half a year for the silage to ferment, but I guess we'll find out. I haven't done a whole lot with silage in Farm Sim yet, and so this will be a good test. A lot of the times that I have done it, it's been with mods that are fermenting that every so many minutes. You get a few with the production style mods, so this will be a good test of how that works in seasons. But for now, we're going to hook this back up to tillage, and I think we're going to go ahead and drop this forage box off because we don't need it anymore, and just kind of clean up the yard, pick up our equipment. And next episode, I think we'll be advancing time and trying to dive into the rest of our harvest. So this is probably a good spot to wrap up today's episode. We're just getting into the swing of things here on Susquehanna River Valley. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of the season holds. That's all for today. Kedrick, out. Of course, I gotta hit the fence every time. Stupid fences.